Painkiller.
Kevin Jackson.
So we need to start acting like a big boy football. It's time for the jetpacks to die.
You're listening to Weapons Hot on Sports War Radio and the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Darnold fires one into the end zone. It is caught. That's a jet touchdown.
And now here is your host, CJ, the Painkiller, DeSimone, and Kevin Jackson.
What's going on, Jets Nation? First things first, before we start getting ourselves out there, reports of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. So for all the people who were like, oh, where's CJ? I'm back, bitches.
He lives.
He's a bull.
We did kind of make it sound a lot worse than it was.
Yeah, we kind of played it out like he was on death's door.
Everybody pray for CJ. He's hanging on by a thread.
He needs a kidney. Give what you can.
Oh my God. Oh my God. He's not gonna make it. He's a bull.
I was 30 seconds away from a GoFundMe start right there, brother.
Exactly.
Did it.
Jimmy, if you would have did that, let me tell you something. Oh man, I would have been like, what is wrong with you? But anyhow,
CJ needs a kidney. Give what you can.
I got to look out for my boys, man. As you can see, we look alike, Dad.
Oh my God. Tough crowd tonight here on Weapons Hot fan broadcast here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, Sports War Radio, and Snowmag Digital Media, and quite frankly, any place where you're getting your New York Jets fix. My name is CJ the Painkiller DeSimone, and let me introduce you to my squadron mates here. First off, in the car, as you could see him driving, and we got a little intro music for him. There we go. We got those symbols. Put your hands together for the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Kevin Jackson.
I am not even mad. I'm not even mad. First and foremost, CJ, welcome back, bro. You already know. Not the same without you. We love you. Thank you for doing what it is that you do. We really are blessed to have you. Y'all got to excuse me. I am driving right now because I have a funeral to attend, and I have to be in New York in the morning. So all of my folks in New York, holla at me tomorrow, holla at me Sunday. I'll be there probably till Monday. You know what I'm saying? Hit me up. First round's on me. I'm ready to go, man. Let's talk about what we're going to do. I mean, we got a lot of options at 34. I know we were just talking a little while ago. I think it's 50-50. We trade back. A lot of different scenarios. Really interested to hear what the guys' takes are on that specifically.
All right. Well, now it's time to introduce the next member of our squadron. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Jimmy, the Reaper Jardine.
Rocking out.
Reaper, what is going on, my friend?
That was the whole show. I can die now, man. I just saw Kev head banging in the car, just going crazy.
I love that.
Bucket list, check.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts of the show. No question.
100%, man. I'm doing good, CJ. And again, I'll just reiterate Kev's statement. I'm glad you're back. I know you're fighting it, and I know you're winning.
And he's kicking his ass, yeah.
It was we missed you last night, most definitely, but you know, we adapt and overcome, and it was a great night. It was a great draft.
All right, so now it's time for the rookie test pilot. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Harrison, the Fireball Glazer.
What's going on, guys? I am stoked. You can see by my name, I'm still working on it. Like, I'm still processing the fact that we got Zach Wilson. Like, it's still seeping in. I'll be sitting at work and we'll just start thinking about it, and I'll get a little teary-eyed a little bit. That's been my guy, man. We got him. We traded up to get Vera Tucker, the best guard in this draft. Literally killed it. I tweeted it out earlier. His pass blocking grade this last season in college was 92.8. 92.8 stats, dude, pass blocking. You know, we've had so many issues of pass blocking. That kid's going to be great. It's what leads me to actually, Jimmy's going to hate me for it, do a little bit of a change at what I want at 34. I don't want to trade back. And I'm excited to talk to you guys about what I want to do. Can't wait to get into it. But the draft is here, baby. Get ready.
Yeah, man.
Meat. We're in the meat of it now.
We are the thick of it.
So the reason for tonight's episode, day one aftermath, the Jets got incredibly aggressive, obviously making a trade to move up from 23 to pick number 14 to select Elijah Vera Tucker. Jets did, in fact, part with both of their third-round picks. A lot of mixed reviews on this particular pick, which I'm going to talk about briefly a little bit, but I want to set the plate for you. One of the biggest things that really shocked me is that as much as we have a lot of wonderful, incredible Jets fans that are incredibly passionate, incredibly knowledgeable, they maintain positivity in the face of just absolute nonsense and stupidity sometimes. You know, hats off to you people last night, because if it wasn't for you people, then the darker side of the fan base, and you people know who I'm talking about, and you people know who you are, okay? Those of you that like to show your ass on Twitter, on Facebook, and especially during the press conferences last night, in which I was completely mortified by some of the comments that were going Joe Douglas's and Robert Saleh's way. Not even on a day one where here we have the future to look forward to. We just drafted Zach Wilson. We made a tremendous aggressive trade to get the top guard in the NFL draft. And we still had a rather significant portion of the Jets fan base actually feel like last night was a loss. So now we're going to go around the room, but I'm going to save my comments for last because, gentlemen, I'm very curious to hear what you guys have to say. Kevin, we're going to start the baton off to you. I'm going to have you pass it off to Harrison, and then Reaper, you are going to finish it off, my friend.
All right. First and foremost, I think my initial reaction was, holy, whatever, we got Elijah Vera Tucker, but man, I mean, we did pay. And, we ran the numbers last night, and Jim did a great job of having them available. The value was there for what it is that we gave up. I initially was just thinking that, the value that we were already kind of expecting out of those 2 third-round picks. I kind of thought that there was maybe a little bit of a miss there. But then I'm thinking again about the opportunity that we have at 34 and seeing how the entire first round fell and recognizing that we could actually move back. Maybe it wouldn't even have to be 15, 20 picks, in order to recoup something for the third round. But look, I want to trust Joe Judge. I want to trust with the vision. I can already see with the 2 picks that were made last night that it was an immediately strong beginning to the draft. We've still currently got 7 picks. And, I asked this question last night, would the guys be comfortable with coming out of this draft with, 6 players out of the initial 10 draft picks that we had? And talking to a few of my folks today, talking to my brother today, talking to, some other Jets fans that I really trust their opinion. I'm not mad at that. I mean, it would be difficult for 10 picks to make the roster anyway. So yeah, maybe my initial reaction, I'm going to still hold to my initial reaction. I really do believe that, we maybe have put ourselves in a position where there is a little bit of a missed opportunity, but I can't be mad at what it is that we added. Real talk, we got literally one or we got 2 of the top 2 or 3 guys at each position that they're coming into play, respectively. So, look, Elijah Vera Tucker's a beast, man. Understanding what a lot of our deficiencies look like last season, the kid's an immediate upgrade. It is going to allow us to do a little bit of shuffling and maybe even get rid of some of the guys that we have on the roster currently as camp shakes out. But look, I'm gonna keep it real. I still think that the trade back scenario is really, really exciting because we can actually restore some of what it is that we lost in the third round. But if we stay at 34, I'm good with that too. I'm not even mad. I just not picking again till 107. I think we're going to miss a few opportunities, including quite possibly missing out on a higher tier of linebacker or because I still like Nick Bolton. I think we talked about him last night also. So I'm just saying if that third round pick or one of the third round picks that we gave up for me was going to end up probably being Nick Bolton at 66. That would have been my choice. And y'all already know that I kind of wanted a Gainwell at 86. I'm still going to beat that horse to damn death. But just realistically, if we stay at 34, we're probably going to get a guy that has a first round. Well, there is no doubt we're going to get a guy that has first round pedigree. If we do move back, the possibility is still we could still do that. But we can also add, a guy later on that might still be a second rounder. And those guys are the guys that you expect to contribute and quite possibly start in quite a few cases. So that's where I stand on it. I'm not going to, get too long-winded on this. But Harrison, what do you think? Where you at on this one, bro?
Yeah, man. So just to throw it out quick, because we're watching, the pick is in. So the Jaguars were on the clock. The pick is now in. We don't know what it's going to be yet. I would say, you guys remember my take with offensive linemen. People don't realize that's a need for basically everybody. Or I showed people the metric of teams' primary needs, secondary needs. They have a category of what they say teams don't need. No one's got offensive line there, especially interior offensive line. Nobody's got that there because offensive line could always use an upgrade. You're going to tell me you don't want a Nick Mangold? Like, I don't care who your center is. Like, that's not happening. So I said the same thing, remember, yesterday with Penei Sewell. I'm going to say the same thing now with Creed Humphrey. He could be the pick, potentially. It could also be a Owusu Koramoah, who I really, really like, and I'm going to come back to that. That's who I want the Jets to take. Crazy 180, because you guys know my guy was Creed. But on to what happened with Vera Tucker. It was a great trade, guys. Joe did what he always does, and I love it. You guys know Joe's my guy. Like, I've been saying since the first draft, I'm like, Joe killed it. And they're like, what are you talking about? Draft only happened a day ago. Like, how do you know that? I'm like, trust me, after watching all these GMs for so long, taking guys I don't like, everything, just the mannerisms, the trades, the way he handles himself in interviews, literally everything, his philosophies, it's just across the board. I'm saying, I said it, in the past, this guy's a great GM. People said it was crazy then. They say it's premature now. I'm still saying it. If you don't believe it yet, you'll see it eventually. Eventually, you'll see that Joe Douglas is a tremendous GM. He is incredible. Literally, we couldn't be luckier. So to get a guy like Vera Tucker, he was the best guard in this draft, the best guard. I pointed it out earlier. His pass blocking grade in 2020 was 92.6. That's insane, 92.6. He was the second best pass blocker. Oh, the pick is in. Okay, so the pick is in. Did you guys see it yet? I don't want to ruin it.
Oh, I haven't seen it. I need to know. Let me know.
It's Tyson Campbell. Tyson Campbell's the pick. I've said it before.
Corner.
Corner. I'm not.
When
Eric Stokes went, I said it myself. I don't get it. Tyson Campbell was the real CB1 of that Georgia team. Stokes broke it in the pro day with the high vertical and the 40. But I don't get it. I'm like, why is Stokes rising and Campbell falling? Like, are people forgetting who Campbell was? Like, I didn't understand it. So that's a great pick. Great pick. Campbell is a first-round talent, in my opinion. Now, just back to the Vera Tucker trade, though. You have to keep in mind the Jets gave away 2/3 for the best guard in this draft. You mentioned the pass blocking ability. He's just as good a run blocker, excellent speed, agility, awareness, flawless technique. That's what I love most about Vera Tucker. His technique, I talk about form all the time. That's why I want to take guys like Alex Lewis and ball them up and just put them in a trash can, because the technique is trash. Right. The technique on Vera Tucker is just, it's like with Mekhi Becton. It's what you want to show people. Like, this is what you should look like. So he's incredible. Excellent technician, amazing footwork, excellent balance, excellent awareness. We're looking at it the wrong way. We're saying, the Jets gave up 2/3. Eventually, people are going to turn around and the story is going to be, that's it? Like, wait a minute. Like that's it? They only gave away 2/3 to get Vera Tucker. And we're again saying the best guard in that draft. So to give you an example of something like that with that skill level, it's like when Brandon Scherf went top of his draft. It's like when Quentin Nelson went the top of his draft. We're talking about an elite A+ talent. And I said that he was a top 15 guy. You remember, Kev, right before, the trade, you were saying maybe go back a couple. I was saying he's a top 15 guy, probably got to go 12, 13, 14. Joe came out yesterday and doubled down and said he's a top 10 guy. Joe's like, that dude is top 10, and we got him at 14, and I agree. So I'm fine. The way we're going to look at it is we got Vera Tucker, and Joe still got a fourth. And that's what I'm saying. So many things to love about Joe. I feel like he wins every freaking trade, like with the Jamal Adams. I feel like he's got that negotiating skill. He always comes out with the better metric, like every single time. And he didn't just get Vera Tucker. He got a fourth. So now we have 2 fourths, 2 fifths, and 2 sixths. That's awesome. So at 34, what I want to do is, you guys know Creed's been my guy. Jimmy knows, I've been talking about Creed nonstop. That's been my guy. I've started to look at it. Vera Tucker is insane. Vera Tucker is an unbelievable lineman. I don't like McGovern at guard, but as you guys know, Kevin and me have talked about it. Linebackers are freaking black hole. Like linebacker, if CJ Mosley can't go and Gerard Davis isn't any different than last year, then we actually have no one. We don't have a single linebacker. And remember, Robert Saleh, before he was the defensive coordinator, was a linebacker coach. So you don't think everyone's saying cornerback. You don't think he's in Joe's ear going, we need linebackers, man. We got nobody back here. Owusu Koromoa is, I don't care about any, forget Parsons. He is the best off-ball linebacker in this draft. Parsons is better if you line him up at the line, get the blitz in. Otherwise, Kamor is the best. Kamor is the best off-ball linebacker in this draft. I didn't think he'd be there at 23. It's insane that he's still there. The Jets have a minute 30 left. You got to take him. Like, you have to take Owusu Koromoa. Like, you just can't not. It's that rare. The kid was a Buckus Award winner, best linebacker. He is the best linebacker in this draft, off-ball linebacker. Got to take him. That's what I want to do.
All right, Reaper, talk to me.
Hold on. The pick hasn't been made.
Sorry, Kevin.
I'm sorry. I'm just asking. The pick hasn't been made yet. Is it?
No, not for the Jets. No, it's not. No.
The pick hasn't been made yet.
No.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Excuse me.
Do you want us to tell you when it's made, or you want to know? Okay.
Just when it's done, yeah. Just let me know.
Oh, it's in. The pick is in.
So
the pick is in.
I'm gonna say my piece as he's walking up to the podium, and then we'll stop and we'll check out the pick. I think this was an A+ first round of the draft for Joe Douglas. I said in my initial mock, I said that Elijah Vera Tucker was going to go 14 to the Vikings, and the Jets traded up with the Vikings at 14, and we got Elijah Vera Tucker at the pick that I said. I may not have got my picks to the teams and stuff like that, but I will. My little weird flex right here is, out of the 32 picks, I got 28 first rounders correct.
Yeah,
so I'll take that. I may not have
some
got.
of them were surprises. So
yeah, for sure. Like
I was
Jamin Davis.
I was right there with you.
Yep. Jamin Davis, I didn't get it.
Jamin Davis I can get, but Zaven Collins over Owusu Koromoa is insanity.
As far as that is concerned, it looks like we're not trading back because obviously the pick is in, so we're staying at 34.
Okay.
Give me Owusu, baby.
I think the trade up was worth it. You can't hate on the draft in the first round because we got the best available quarterback and we got the best interior offensive lineman in the draft.
Here we go. The pick's in. It's coming.
Please let it be. Please.
They're still playing around. Get out of here.
Shit. Oh, shit. Did you guys hear it yet?
Not yet.
No.
Oh, shit. That's a hell of, oh, wow. That's a 180. Didn't see that coming.
Elijah Moore.
Yeah. Elijah Moore, man. The Jets just got another nifty gadget slot option to pair with Jamison Crowder. That's what they just did.
Crowder's not going to make it. Crowder's not going to make it on this team past the 4th round. Crowder's out of here. They're going to trade him.
Let me ask you this.
Kev, you're breaking my heart, bro. Oh, my Jameson.
They're going to trade him.
Does this put players like CJ Mosley and Jamison Crowder on a trade block to get back up into these rounds?
I would. I would if I could come back and get Owusu Koromoa, Creed, Nick Bolton even.
So
Nick Bolton is, yeah.
We're coming up against it for this first segment here. We got about 6 minutes left, but my final thought on it is I think it's an A+ draft, and if you're a Jets fan who hates the first round that we just had, then you can't see the forest for the trees, and you don't get that this was the best first round of a draft that the Jets have had in 15 years. So that's my piece. CJ, what you got?
I would have to think that somebody's already wanting Jamison Crowder for them to make that pick. That's just kind of where that's how I stand on it. Go ahead, CJ.
All right. Well, my thoughts on last night's first round was I like the Zach Wilson pick. I like the fact that they were aggressive and they went up and they got AVT. I really don't understand why people are crucifying the pick. I really don't understand why people are saying we gave up too much to get him. And most of all, I really don't understand the mindset that, oh, same old Jets, we screwed up the draft again and this, that, and the third on something where we took some positive steps forward toward our future. And just something that really irritates me, especially when it comes to draft time, is that the fan base has a tendency to be incredibly myopic, and not only just the fan base, but also the prognosticators and analysts, gurus, or whatever the hell you want to call them. These guys that are up there supposedly analyzing all of these draft picks. Last night, I think I both saw and heard more uncertainty than I could stomach at times, because here they are paid professionals, and it just seemed like that everyone had their pick of who they thought their guy was, and it just seemed like that there was not one unanimous across the board guy that everybody liked other than Trevor Lawrence. Plain and simple. But this morning when I got up and I was reading some of the stuff through social media about some of the comments, and there was a lot of mixed reviews, and I was pretty shocked, because I would have thought overall that there would have been, a pretty happy a pretty happy feeling going along the Jets fan base with, now we got Zach Wilson, we got Elijah Vera Tucker, addressed another piece of the offensive line. Day 2 coming up gives us an opportunity to be aggressive. Okay, now they just went and they selected Elijah Moore. So people in the chats like Lowell Lichmore, Blake McLaughlin, a couple other Garen Brower, Speedy Petey's up in the chat. Lito Cortina's up in the chat. So
The gang's
it's still on the fence. It's still 50-50. You have people that like the pick, and you have people that don't like the pick. So, again, I'm not really understanding, considering the fact that we're not going to be able to fix this roster with one NFL draft. There's still more rounds to be had. I would have liked for the Jets to trade down. But you know what? If Joe Douglas felt at 34 that Elijah Moore was the top guy that they wanted to get, and they're going to give Zach Wilson another weapon to throw the ball to, then who am I to question? This is the guy that they probably had on their board. They had him on the board for a reason. Otherwise, he wouldn't be the pick at 34. And that's just the way that I look at it. So, again, I'm not really understanding what all the angst is, but I do understand that some fans wanted particular players, but just because they didn't pick the player that you like doesn't make it a bad pick. So that's just my 2 cents worth on it. So anyhow, moving on. Let's go to the second part of the show here. And I wanted to get your thoughts overall on the Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh press conference last night when they talked about the draft picks and the thought process behind the draft picks, etc. This time we'll start in reverse order. Reaper, I'm going to start with you, then we'll kick it over to Fireball, and then we'll finish it up with Kevin on the rear. So give me your thoughts about the press conference last night and your thoughts and views on it.
I just watched some highlights on it. It was a long night, so I didn't get a chance, and had kind of a busy day today, so I didn't watch a whole lot of it. But I like the overall confidence. Like Joe Douglas is the footage of Joe Douglas and that fist pump when they got up for AVT. Like I like that type of stuff, I think that the confidence that they showed in the press conferences from the snippets that I saw, the smiles, the excitement, you could hear the excitement. I have no reason not to trust these guys. And it's a collaborative effort, and we've just taken 3 offensive players with our first 3 picks, and Saleh looks to be just as excited, You know, so I feel like we're headed in the right direction, and I feel like this is moving forward. So I ain't mad at it at all, except for the idiot Jets fans in the chats. Like that stuff is irritating, but I usually turn those comments off anyway and just watch the presser. Like I said earlier, man, I just if you don't like what happened in that last first round yesterday, you just don't understand it. Period. Short and sweet, but that's my thoughts on it.
If I may just quick, actually, because I was on Twitter, I was posting some videos of Elijah Moore. One of my followers, shout out to Zachary, said he thinks literally what you freaking Kev just said. Crowder and CJ are getting traded together for a second rounder. And, that is legitimately possible. And I've broken it down with Mosley before. It comes down to that, contract. And Douglas, again, the brilliance of his mind.
That's probably the question I posed.
So I've actually done it before. I sat and looked at it. I'm not as good as Joe, obviously not nearly as good, but the way I looked at it was you eat more money depending on the pick you can get. So like if a team's willing to give me a higher pick, I'll eat more of that guaranteed money. Like I'll take it. But if you want to take it all, then I'll take a much lower pick. So and I kind of broke it down. I did it like it was a couple of months ago where like I did different ranges of the price and the kind of pick I would take. But you could find the right suitor if you eat the right amount of money and you package in, I can't even say it. I really don't want to see Jamison Crowder go. I mean, CJ's point, I'm going to shout you out, bro. Addition, truth through subtraction, like you said. Like you always say, CJ, addition through subtraction. You can always use more weapons. What's better than one shifty slot guy? Now we have a shifty slot gadget guy. Elijah Moore is fast as hell, elusive as hell. But what surprises me about Elijah Moore that I actually like about him, he's powerful for a dude his size. Like pound for pound, the kid is tough. I've seen him blast his way into the end zone. He can line up in the slot. He can line up in the backfield. He can do a gadget play. He can go deep. He's an excellent deep option. He's another great weapon. I honestly would maybe not get rid of Jamison Crowder. And now, I mean, that room is just stacked. I mean, it's stacked beyond stacked beyond stacked. But at the same time, you got Keelan Cole, you got Davis, you got Mims. So I could get it. But I mean, I'm also a little biased. I mean, I'm a huge, ACC guy, huge Duke guy. I've been watching Jamison Crowder with my dad at Duke like forever. So I just don't want to see Jamison Crowder go. So that's my 2 cents.
All right, Kevin, talk.
All right. Yeah, man. Elijah Moore is a little bit of a surprise for me. I'll just be honest. I think when Harrison said that's a 180, I just immediately knew, okay, well, we didn't go defense, right? We went right back to the well.
It surprised me. I didn't think that.
It immediately leads me to believe that they see Jamison Crowder as an option to be able to replace something that maybe they felt like they needed to address with some draft picks. Look, we've discussed this wide receiver room a few different shows, and we talked about the Berrios and we talked about the Smith and those guys, and now those guys are just based on the pick. Those guys are really no longer in the equation. I can't see us having 6 or 7 guys in that room, knowing what it is that we have at the top. When we're looking at Corey Davis, we're looking at Denzel Mims, we're looking at Keelan Cole, we're looking at now Elijah Moore, maybe to replace what it is that we thought we had in Jamison Crowder. Maybe another one of those guys sticks. It's really hard to say, but I'm excited about what happens in that room specifically, because I think that if we're really hoping that Zach Wilson is comfortable and has a complement of what it is that he needs, I think there's no doubt that that's what that's what he has. And that in particular is really good and really bodes well for what it is that we have going forward. I think the difficulty for me is because of what it is that we looking at linebacker right now, because of what we're looking like at cornerback right now, and again having 2 4s, 2 5s, 2 6. It's really hard to think that a 6th rounder is going to come in and have the type of effect that we would want for them to have. But I mean, stranger things have happened, right? Also, just in thinking, if we do end up moving on from Crowder, what is Crowder going to bring back? Is Crowder worth a 4th rounder? Is he worth a 5th rounder? Jamison Crowder has been one of the best slot receivers in the league, period, point blank. the past couple of seasons, and that is in one of the most anemic offenses that I think the NFL has ever seen, right? With us here under whatever that guy's name is. Anyway, so look, it's an exciting pick, but it does leave more questions, and it also kind of just solidifies what it is that I've been saying just coming into this whole draft process, is that we really have no clue what Joe Douglas's board looks like. What is his vision for what this team? How does it shape in his eyes? How does it, kind of translate into what it is that he does? And giving away the 2 third-round picks, like I said, initially it was something, but on the after side, Elijah Vera-Tucker is exactly what it is that we need, right? I mean, there really is no question that is an A+ pick, point blank, period, the end. Whatever we give up, there may have been some questions, but I think seeing this move, I think it also does free up. So we recognize that Joe Douglas is a tactician. He has a plan. He has some idea about what it is that he wants to do. And over the course of, well, maybe not tonight, but we can't even rule out that tonight might not actually yield a trade up scenario for us. But we talk about tomorrow and the rest of the weekend. I think Joe Douglas is, I think he's earned enough respect for us to look at and say, whatever he does, I think it's actually just designed to put us in the best position. So, look, I like the pick. It is most definitely a head scratcher, something, I don't think anybody really was expecting, but most definitely a talented kid and somebody that, as we look at it, could come in and immediately contribute. And that's even if Jamison Crowder is no longer on the team. So, I don't know, man. Interesting to see how everything else shakes out. Understanding that we really have only addressed one of the needs that we really had with the influx to the offensive line. But linebacker is really a concern for me. Cornerback, again, is really a concern for me. There are some guys, as far as the cornerbacks are concerned, late, that I think that can come in and be functional. But the linebacker position, I don't know, man. That's going to be a question for me. Hopefully, we can actually make some moves to be able to maybe add some guys that aren't just, kind of run-of-the-mill, just the guy, kind of depth pieces. I'm excited. We'll see how it goes. CJ, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, Lowell Litchmore in the comments actually brought up a good point. We still have 6 more draft picks. So, there's still a lot of damage that the Jets can continue to do and bring in some talent here. And I know that it's probably going to be some mid-level tier talent, but isn't that what the majority of the NFL rosters are made up of? 4th, 5th, and 6th rounders. So,
Yeah.
So these are guys who can come out there, and Joe's in a prime spot where he could come out and he could still do some damage. And, I still don't believe that he's done. So there could be a possibility that, sure, they may end up trading a Jamison Crowder to get back into the 3rd round if he does. Or maybe he nets a 4th. So the Jets end up having 3 4th round picks. So we'll see. I mean, there's still a lot of draft in front of us. And, I just see it. I see the panic. Everybody's starting to freak out. Let the man do his work. This is what he's hired for. You know what?
There should be no freak outs, right? There should be no freak outs.
Right.
You can have questions about the pick, but there should be no freak outs. These are talented guys, like really guys that are considered the tops of what's available, regardless as of right now. Elijah's the kid's a 1st round talent, right?
Landon Dickerson is now the first center off the board to Philadelphia.
Okay.
I like that pick for them.
It's a good pick. I mean, he is arguably the best run blocking interior lineman in this whole draft. You could easily make that argument as a run blocker. And the injury, I always thought was an issue too, but he seemed to bounce back. He seemed to check out medicals. But I love the joke people said. Remember at the pro day when he was inching up on, I don't know why I'm having Mac Jones, when he was inching up on Mac Jones. That I've never seen a guy do more for himself without even touching the field, because it just showed that he's such a great character. People say that about him. Like, people just gravitate to him. They say he's a fun guy, he's a jokester, he's a clown, but excuse me. But on the field, he's a beast, like an absolute beast. I mean, I prefer Creed again. That cerebral aspect is rare. I don't think Landon has it, to be fair. I don't think anyone has it except Creed, but it is a good pick.
So, all right. So, any other final thoughts before we move on to our next topic for this evening?
The trade up is a really intriguing situation for me. Just because I do believe that, we have 6 picks left, right? Doesn't necessarily mean we have to draft 6 guys. And even if that means, kind of adding some stuff onto what we actually have available for next season, I think that just gives us more capital, more quality players, not necessarily quantity of picks. We could take one of the 6th rounders, a 5th rounder, we can move back up into the 4th. I think the 3rd and the 4th rounds are going to be the sweet spot for this draft. Excited to see how it works.
All right. Harrison, any thoughts?
I mean, right now, if it were me, I talked about it before. There's 14 quality guys I had on my board. One of them wasn't Elijah Moore. I mean, I don't hate the pick, but there's still so much talent, especially at offensive line. A lot of quality offensive linemen that should have been first-round guys still on the board. Some people speculate, I'm looking at Twitter, some people speculating Jamison Crowder can now be in the mix, like Kev said. I'd hate to see it. Some speculating Mosley as well. We talked about it. It comes down to compensation. If Joe could get back into the middle end of the 2nd, or even just back to the 3rd, that would be awesome. Jet fans would be really excited. It would be really exciting to get back in, have another pick today, and still a lot of quality offensive linemen on the board.
Linebacker depth also.
Yeah.
Seriously, linebackers and
you mentioned a linebacker's a problem. I like later in the draft. If we go 4th round, Chaz Surratt is my main choice, but I really like in the 5th round Snowden, because I feel like he's better value at that pick because it's such a late pick. I love Snowden. The potential is just, I really like him.
Christian Barmore to the New England Patriots.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I mean, I know, Jimmy, you said you like competition. Jimmy's like giving the best guys, but I'm seeing Barmore freaking destroying the interior of the Jets line. Like that's what I'm envisioning.
Look, that's that
Not
Elijah
anymore.
Tucker spot.
That guy's
right
a
there,
beast. Barmore's a beast.
That's that Vera Tucker, kind of reverb right there.
Vera Tucker's gonna have to hold. He's good. You know what? That's gonna be a fun matchup. Watching freaking Vera Tucker and Barmore. That is gonna be some fun shit. Because that is a hell of a blocker versus a beast of a nose. Oh man, that's gonna be some exciting shit.
Wow.
All right. So, Jimmy, any final thoughts before we move on to our next segment?
Good, my friend.
All right. So, now the next segment of the show, I want to go around the room, ask everybody, give their thoughts. This time we'll do it in a little bit of a reverse order this time. Harrison, we're going to start with you.
Let's do it.
And we're going to go to Jimmy, and then we'll go to Kevin. And the question that I'm going to pitch to you is that what are the other positions that you want the Jets to address with your day 3 draft picks? And please try to keep it as brief as possible.
I got you, man. Don't worry. I got you. But so right now we have 2 4ths and we have 2 5ths and 2 6ths. Linebacker is obviously a major need. I mentioned Nick Bolton. I've been talking about him. You guys have heard me on the Weapons Hot podcast about why I love him so much. Can be plugged into the mic. Outstanding player. I gave you the reasons why. The 2nd best off-ball linebacker behind Owusu-Koramoah. I'm slighting Zaven Collins. It's him. Nick Bolton's the 2nd best off-ball linebacker. I don't think he can be had there. Like if he's there in the 4th round, Joe Douglas is going to run up so fast he's going to have a heart attack. Like it's going to be some scary stuff if Bolton's still there. I don't think he will. So linebacker being a big need in the 4th round, I like Chaz Surratt a lot. Surratt's a good option, but I really, really like Charles Snowden in the 5th. Not saying Snowden's better than Surratt. He's not. But I like his value more because he can be had like late 5th. And like I've said about Snowden, he's very quick, very agile. He is a perfect size for what you'd want in a 4-3 outside linebacker, but he's also a pretty damn good pass rusher, like better than most of those guys are. And I think I pointed that with you guys before. I watched this kid pass rush and I'm like, this kid's a beast, but he doesn't have a pass rush trait. Like, I just want to point out that, by the way, Tevin Jenkins just went off the board. So that's huge because that was a guy the Jets were potentially looking at. So the Chicago Bears just took Tevin Jenkins, and we know the Chicago Bears just took Justin Fields. So that's good. That's giving the Bears some credit here. They got their quarterback, and now they just got a big-time tackle or guard. Tevin Jenkins can play tackle or guard. As they say, 0 sacks allowed since 2019 is the stat they're showing. So pretty kudos to the Bears. But with Snowden, I've noticed he's not a pass rush tree. He's either dominates the guy by blasting through him or he's fast enough that he gets around him. Like this dude constantly gets to the quarterback and he doesn't have a pass rush tree. He's just that talented. And in pass coverage, he's not great, but he's not bad either. There's a ton of potential there. So that's why I like at linebacker. At corner, I like Tyson Campbell a lot. He's gone. A couple guys just quick because I don't take too much time. Darius Williams is one I really like. I like Paulson Adebo. If you want to go with a flyer late, I would say a guy like St. Juste he's got a Cromartie body and speed. He's raw. He needs to be molded. But if the right guy molds him, he can be insanely good. I feel like I'm missing somebody. Did Elijah Molden go yet, or is he still on the board?
No,
I don't think he went. Yeah. So Elijah Molden's a great option because he played slot his whole time at Washington, but he measures out as an outside guy. Like he's big enough and physical enough. So he's a great option too. Honestly, I think that's our biggest needs right now, and as well offensive line. So offensive line, linebacker, and corner.
All right. Reaper, you're up.
I tend to agree. I think we need to add some depth. And I would not be surprised if we see another Jets pick today. In early. I mean, like I know we're doing 2 and 3, but I know we don't have any 3s, but I wouldn't be surprised if, because of this wide receiver pick, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a trade with Jamison Crowder to get back into the 3rd. I would like to see at least one more early offensive lineman, and if Creed Humphrey keeps sliding, I would like Joe Douglas to recognize that and try to make something happen. Obviously it's his show, so I'm going to just roll with whatever he does. But corner, we definitely need. I like Kerry Vincent Jr. late. We need some linebackers depth. Give me Charles Snowden. Give me Cameron McGrone. Falcons pick is in.
Yep, Falcon pick. While the Falcons pick is in, someone riddle me this. How is it there's 6 picks have gone by and Jock is still on the freaking board? Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, if Owusu Koromoa is still there, like trade back up into round 2, man.
How the hell is he still here? Like, I don't get it. Do they not know who he is? Do they not recognize? Are they not watching Notre Dame?
But one thing I would like to also address. Go ahead, Kevin.
My 4th and 5th and 6th to get him right now.
I'll do it. Hell, I'll give you. You know what? If it takes 2 fourths, a 5th and a 6th, it's freaking Owusu Koromoa. Best off-ball linebacker in the freaking draft. Like I said, if we get him, I said it earlier, we got Zach Wilson, the best guard in this draft, and the best off-ball linebacker.
So I think one of the things I'd like to add that I want is we have to address kicker.
That's an interesting pick.
And I would love to address. I know my guy Avery Williams out of Boise State. I know he's 26 years old, but he is probably the best return guy in this draft. He had fewer opportunities than Devin Hester and has more yards and more touchdowns than Devin Hester. So I like the way that, Devin Hester was returning back before they changed all the kicking rules. So, touchbacks and stuff like that weren't as big a thing. So Hester had a lot more opportunities and my guy Avery Williams, I'd like to see us address that, but we got to get a kicker, man. I want McPherson or Borgalis, one of those two, but that's how I'd address our late picks.
Can I just point out something interesting? I just realized an interesting trend. I don't know if this is, going to be always the way going down the road, but Joe Douglas took an offensive lineman in the 1st last year, took an offensive lineman in the 1st this year, took a wide receiver in the 2nd last year, and now took a wide receiver in the 2nd again. So that's a pretty interesting pattern.
Yeah, considering that the Jets drafted all of 3 offensive players between the years of 2009 up to 2018.
Yeah, right.
Jesus,
right.
That's how you surround Sam.
All right, so
that's how you do it.
Look, this for me is interesting because you ever get women around each other all for a long period of time and their periods start to kind of coincide. We're all kind of thinking the same thing. We're all kind of thinking the same players. Look,
bro, I was legit wondering.
I know I know that's a weird analogy. Please excuse
No,
me.
I was wondering where you were going. I was like, where's he going with this?
No, because look, when we did a mock, and Jimmy remember this when I did the mock. I was mocking Chaz Surratt to us, and I'll be honest with you, I like that linebacker, and I like him where I think it is that we'll be able to get him, in the fourth, beginning of the fifth round. St. Just is also a guy who I've kind of pigeonholed into a certain spot because I figured if we didn't go early, if we didn't go corner early, we were going to end up, kind of looking at it at the back end. And around again like that fifth round, end of the fifth round kind of area for those guys, I think is where it is that they most likely would fit for us. I'm just going to say this, and just to kind of give another, kind of point of view on this. Our offensive line, I kind of really have to question what it is that they see in Cameron Clark, because if they like Cameron Clark, that's a potential guard, situation for us that would maybe not have us need to address offensive line going forward. I mean, I know we like the center, but considering again that what we're talking about is having all of these picks next season and everybody's comfortable with kind of waiting on this stuff, maybe we're looking at center, first or second round next year. I mean, we've got 4 picks, first and second round next season. So that gives us not only great flexibility, but great opportunities really to be able to make big splashes at those positions. I also got to follow up with this because my brother and I were talking about this earlier about the kicker position. And Jim, I know you kind of hammered this home to a point, because when we're talking about earlier about why it is that McCagnon, kind of crapped the bed when it came to Jason Myers' situation, right? That's what makes it difficult for us, right? And that's what stops us from being able to benefit from that. It's just we really need to do something different in that regard. So I'm going to say offensive line, but I'm going to say offensive line after linebacker and corner. Maybe I would even put it at the same level right now as our need for kicker. So maybe late we take a flyer, what have you. I think that we do have guys on the roster right now that we just really haven't seen enough of as far as offensive line is concerned to say that we actually need to spend, quality picks this season on it. But linebacker, yeah, most definitely. If I would imagine we might even double down on linebacker and quite possibly double down on corner also.
I told you, Kev.
Notwithstanding what it is that we do with the undrafted free agents also. So I know that we're talking about third day picks, but after the third day is up, who's left? We picked up some guys last season as undrafted free agents that have really kind of been bright spots and have contributed in ways that we're sure that were unexpected before we actually knew who they were. So day 3 is going to be interesting because I think to Jim's point again, it does move a little bit different. I do expect that it's going to be something that comes where we're able to move and come back up. But notwithstanding, some sort of trade that involves 4 picks to move up 2 or 3 rounds. It's going to be interesting to see again what Joe's board looks like. We all talked about what Rex and Phil Savage and those guys were bringing to the table, and so far, just based on who it is that they've decided to pick, these guys know what they're looking for. They know what they're looking at. It looks like they're willing to be decisive to go get it. So it's going to be exciting. Really.
Yeah, if I may just quick, because I just saw Elijah Moore was on Jets Overtime with Ethan Greenberg, who does some really great work. I was just listening quick to what Elijah Moore was saying. I liked it, man. He was saying, he said he's very religious. He said, he thanks God and he's ready to get to work. That's what he said. It was a good answer. Very good answer.
All right.
I know me and God.
I want to get to some of these comments. I want to thank everyone who is joining us tonight and commenting in. Shout out to Lowell Lichmore, Blake McLaughlin, Lino Cortina, Garen Brower, Bill Robinson is up in here. We'll start here. Lowell Lichmore chiming in. Good picks. We need players that can make defenders miss. Blake McLaughlin, I'm happy we didn't trade back, but confused we didn't double down. on the offensive lineman or take Owasu Komola. Blake's question for Harrison is, why does he think that Owasu Koramoah is actually falling?
That's a great question. And dude, I don't have a legitimate answer. And I posed it before. I was like, do these guys not watch Notre Dame? Like, do they not understand what's going on? Like, Owasu Koramoah, there were only 2 linebackers in this draft that rated at basically a 90 in coverage last year. And that was Jabril Cox and Owusu Koramoah. But Owusu Koramoah is amazing speed. He's a good hitter, great field awareness, like great field vision. I've said it before. He is the best off-ball linebacker in this draft. I would take him over Jamin Davis. I would have taken him over Zaven Collins. I sure as hell would have taken him over some guys going now. I don't get it. I legitimately don't have an answer. I don't know if there's like, I'm thinking there's like some crazy, remember when Larimer Tunsil fell? Maybe he's got some stupid video he put out or something. I have no idea. I honestly don't get why he's falling.
I wanted to propose this, and maybe just because I think, would we be considering maybe him a little bit of a tweener on the next level? Like, is he, because I mean, we talk about how his skill set is similar to Jamal Adams, and that, you know, that translates into box safety basically, right?
Well, Jamal Adams, if he could have freaking covered.
Yeah, I'm just saying, better. He's better than Jamal at some of those things, but he basically has a similar skill set in doing what it is that Jamal did well. And Jamal, you can call him a safety or whatever, but he actually probably fit more into what that linebacker would be, like that you know, that kind of roaming, ranging linebacker. You're right, he's not as good in coverage. But do you think maybe teams are looking at Owusu Koramoah saying that he's kind of similar to that, and maybe they're not looking at him as that top tier linebacker, you know, kind of position?
What I would honestly say, the more I think about it, is if you run a 3-4, he doesn't fit your system unless you're going to play him at safety. Like, that's it. So if you run a 3-4, he doesn't make sense because of his size. What's beautiful about, you know, the 4-3 system is you could take linebackers like Owusu Koramoah, and when you line them up on the edge of the line, they act like box safeties. They're basically like a box safety like mixed into a linebacker, which is really great. But if you run a 3-4, Koramoah is not a fit. He's not a fit at all. So that could be coming into teams' logic, I would guess, as well. If you're running a 3-4, then you don't see the use in him, unless you think you want to play him at safety.
That's just kind of how I saw him, to be honest with you. I think he's a tremendous player, and wherever he does fall, they're going to get a guy that's going to be able to really do quite a bit. But I'm kind of looking at him as that might be the reason why he's falling right now. And we really haven't had a run on linebackers just quite yet either. So, you know, we haven't had a run on corners yet either. So I mean, kind of early, but we'll see how that shakes out. He might end up falling maybe to the mid to the end of the second round, just off the strength of really who's going to use him, and what are our teams that need a guy like that? Where are they picking, you know, in this round?
If I may quick, just this surprised the hell out of me. So with the 42nd overall pick, the Miami Dolphins took Liam Eichenberg, and that surprised me a little bit. I mean, it's not a bad pick. It's not a bad pick at all, but I honestly would have thought if you're going to take a lineman, go with a guy like Creed, something like that. I mean, I don't think Sam Cosmi is off the board yet, I believe. I think he's still there too. Eichenberg's not a bad pick. What's interesting with Eichenberg is he's an excellent technician. He's not the strongest guy. He could actually maybe afford to hit the gym a little bit more, put on a little more mass, but he's an excellent technician and he's quite quick. So he could definitely possibly plug into the Dolphins, you know, at a tackle position.
All right. So let me get back to some of these comments. I lost my spot, so we're going to go right here. Lino Cortina talking in reference to Cameron Clark. Clark is a beast. Just didn't have a chance to prove it last year. He also agrees with Kevin's points about Cam Clark. Little Lichmore back in. We got 4 picks within the first 2 rounds next season. Jimmy actually chiming in here. I don't hate it. I don't hate it in the sense that I feel a move up coming. I would have preferred another O-line guy or JOK. So Lino going back at Jimmy here, going you, me, and the rest of Jets Nation too. Evan Mendelson chiming in. Elijah Moore equals Santana Moss 2.0.
Wow.
Oh, he's a little on the smaller side, but it's an interesting comparison. That's a very interesting comparison.
Lowell Lichmore chiming in, not mad at the pick. We need elusive players. Bill Robinson, hopefully next year's pick will not be in the top 15. Lino Cortina, I've been a Notre Dame fan just as long as I've been a Jets fan. He's a freaking monster. Koromoa can cover. His athleticism is sick and can bring the rush. He's versatile. Maurizio Petruzzola chiming in. Thank you again for joining the show. Crowder now. And we pretty much have covered everything up to this point. So,
well, CJ, I'd be curious what you think about, because that's always been your stance. Your stance has always been, you don't do addition, do subtraction. So how do you feel about potentially getting rid of Jamison Crowder?
Well, the reason why I was opposed to getting rid of him is because you're not going to get rid of your most productive offensive player last year. And I think, though, now with the drafting of Elijah Moore, that does potentially make losing a Jamison Crowder does not hurt as much as if we just forfeited on him because we didn't want to pay him another $10 million. So one of the things that I've been a proponent on, you guys have heard me preach this on the show over and over again. You have to add talent. You have to build around the guys here. We don't just get rid of our best players and then bring in subpar ones.
Yeah, like Kev said, he's one of the best slots every year.
Or who we hope are going to work out. Now, here's another thing, too. Crowder may very well not be dealt at all.
Shouldn't be. I would still keep him.
So, one of the things, what is the one thing Jet fans have been bitching about for the past 10 years?
Weapons.
We have no weapons. Okay. We draft a friggin' wide receiver. What are we doing? We're bitching about the fact that we drafted a wide receiver. You understand how ridiculous that sounds?
And we took one last year. We got 2 wide receivers in 2 years consecutively.
Premium receivers.
That's Mims was a first round. You could have argued that Elijah Moore was a slot first round option. You could easily make that argument.
I'm thinking this way, and CJ again makes great points when we talk about the not getting rid of guys or not replacing guys, right? But that's really, you get rid of guys and you have to replace them anyway. I think with the additions of Corey Davis, with the addition of Keelan Cole, and now with the addition of Elijah Moore, I don't necessarily see losing Jamison Crowder as being getting rid of a guy and not having a replacement available for him. I think what that did was that ends up now making Jamison Crowder an extremely valuable chip for him to be able to make moves. Or this is basically a shell game, right? What's under this one? What's under that one? We don't know what these picks are going to end up being like, but we project what it is that we feel like they're going to be able to bring to the table. And Elijah Moore, like you said, has a similar skill set, especially in the spot to what Jamison Crowder does. I think he may be a little faster, and obviously he's a lot younger. Does that mean now that Jamison Crowder becomes much more valuable for somebody else at this point? Maybe somebody's coming to look for him. It's not like we didn't have guys that were interested in him before when we were talking about getting rid of him. I just don't think it made as much sense before for us to get rid of him as it does now.
Right, exactly. And that's, that's the point, Kevin, because look, when have the New York Jets been able to say, go and take a look at their wide receiver room currently? Denzel Mims, Corey Davis, Keelan Cole, now Elijah Moore, Vincent Smith, Braxton Berrios, who's still there. Okay, you got Lawrence Cager. Okay. Who else am I missing?
Well, here's an interesting thing I would just say quick, though. So, Jim, you want to jump in?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So the quick thing I would just say is that I get it. I do get it. But again, you said Crowder's one of the best slot guys consistently in the league. Last year, it was fun having Crowder and Berrios in that situation. Now it's Crowder and Moore. And we want Zach Wilson to have the best chance to succeed. So honestly, you could, have him at both. Crowder's in the last year of his deal. I mean, if you really wanted, you could let him walk. depending on how Moore does. You could let him walk at the end of the year, but instead of Berrios being the option, now you have Crowder and this rookie Elijah Moore on the interior. You have Davis and Mims on the outside. You have Cole that you can put anywhere. That just got damn scary. Like immediately, that is a damn scary receiving core.
What is the one thing about this New York Jets team that no one is afraid of? The weapons. Now,
not anymore.
Not right. On paper, when you go and take a look at the different combinations that can be deployed by this New York Jets offense, you can't sit here and tell me that as a Jets fan, you're looking at that wide receiver room right now and can't help but feel encouraged that the Jets are not making the same mistakes they made with Sam Darnold,
right?
With Zach Wilson.
And they're protecting them. They took the best card in the draft.
Let me jump in here for a minute. So Elijah Moore in his official pro day in March, these are lasered times. Remember,
it's gonna be lightning fast.
Stopwatch. 4.32 in the 40. Laser
sounds
time.
about right. I think he could be faster.
His 3-cone drill, 6.6 seconds.
Whew.
Insane.
Whew.
Guess what his short shuttle was? Guess what his short shuttle was?
Oh man, I'm gonna say it's probably low, man. What, like 6'9"?
4.0.
What? Jesus.
4.0, 5.10.5.
You know what that means? That means he doesn't lose any agility or speed when he cuts routes. When he makes a cut, and his cuts are just, he doesn't lose an ounce of speed.
And that 6.6 3-cone drill, he is shifty. Like, this is a solid pick, guys. This is a solid pick.
All right. Whoa. But wait a second. Everybody was so butthurt when we let Robbie Anderson walk out the door for $2 million, right?
And Moore's a deep threat, man. Moore is a hell of a deep threat. But Moore's more of a deep threat. He's a deep threat. He's a gadget option. He's a slot guy. You could put him at running back. This kid can do everything.
Let me point out my perspective on the add talent, don't replace talent. Now
Lino Cortina chiming in, and remember, we still got Lawrence Cager too.
We do,
which is something I just mentioned a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, just quick. I've said it before. I think Cager is going to prove to be a red zone threat. That's how I view him.
So I've been talking
about Cager from minute one.
Yep.
What I've always said is I agree with you, CJ. I don't like replacing talent, except for this. Okay, now I'm not backtracking here at all. I'm not walking anything back. My argument has always been, my argument has always been the statement about Crowder being bounced or walked out of one Jets drive was about cap space. And I never wanted that to happen. You don't get rid of your best wide receiver over the past 2 years for cap space when you have $80 million in cap space.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That is an ignorant position. Now, we're talking about us. We are Jets fans before we are players fans. I love Jamison Crowder, and he's one of my favorite players. But if dealing Jamison Crowder gets us back into even round 2, and we can get a Creed Humphrey, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, if we can get an Aaron Banks guard from Notre Dame, probably the third best guard, or if we can get a Molden in the 3rd round, if we can recoup some 3rd round because we can deal Crowder, then he becomes an asset and helps the team. So I'm not saying just replace. I'm not saying just replace talent to replace talent. For a financial reason, there's no reason to do it. But if he can be a draft asset, then yes, you have to do what's best for the team.
Jimmy, you're making good points with prospects I like. You're naming guys I like. I know you. That's what it is.
You're going to be like, okay, we can get rid of Crowder.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Like, you're mentioning guys I like. If you saw my face, I was like, shit. He's making a good point. Like, I want those guys.
I didn't think about that part.
Like, crap. I just love Crowder so much, man. It's a personal connection.
Yeah, I got this hat. This hat is a 7 5/8. So.
All right. So anyhow,
If I could just quick, because I want to shout this guy out because he's freaking amazing. Trayvon Moehrig just went a couple of picks ago. This kid is amazing. I love that kid. I even projected him as possibly a pick for us because when I watched him in college, first time I started watching him, I'm like, this dude is like the greatest cover safety I think I've ever seen. Like, why is he not playing corner? Like, this dude is super glue in coverage. Then I watched him line him up on the butt and like on the line and watched him murder a running back. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it. So like that dude is legit. That dude is like a cornerback in like a linebacker's body. Like that dude is legit.
All right. So here is the final question for tonight, and that's pretty much going to do it for tonight's episode of Weapons Hot. So I want to circle this around. Obviously, Justin Fields being selected to the Chicago Bears after a very surprising trade with the New York Giants.
Ooh, pick.
So one of the questions that I have for you guys, okay, and I want to go around the room on this, is now that Justin Fields is a Chicago Bear, you still have Andy Dalton in that quarterback room. Mm-hmm. You also still have a very interesting name, which I'm going to throw out there, called Nick Foles, who is from stories that are reporting soon to be released. Don't really know if there are any truth to that. It's unconfirmed reports. I want to go around the room. Jimmy, I'm going to start with you. Then we're going to go to Harrison. We'll finish this up with Kevin. Considering the New York Jets still are in need of a backup quarterback, do you go after a Nick Foles from Chicago? Jimmy, thoughts?
If the price is right, yeah. I mean, if he wants to accept backup money, I mean, I think at this point, Nick Foles knows who he is. I think he knows where he's going to fall. I don't hate it. I mean, he was on a championship team. Foles was the Super Bowl MVP back in 2017 or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't really hate that. Like, we're not getting him to be the guy, right? I mean, we're getting him to
I hope not.
put some. Good God, no. I would say hard pass.
I was joking.
If it's anything more than a 1-year deal, then no. But I mean, I'm saying like to get some experience and some leadership knowledge into the quarterback room, I absolutely agree that we need a vet. I mean, think about how much Josh McCown helped Sam, and as soon as McCown was gone, just downhill slide. And I think that we want to help. We want to help Zach Wilson out, and I think that can do it. So like a Nick Foles, I know people don't like him. I like Brian Hoyer. That type of player, somebody that can step in and manage a game when needed, and that's it. That old saying is if you have two quarterbacks, you have none. Like, I agree with that. So, but if you have a guy that you can trust to go in and manage a game and then have your starter right there ready to go, that's what we need.
All right, Harrison, your thoughts?
Okay. So as you guys know, I've told you my take on Justin Fields. The physical talent is there amazingly. I mean, the kid is a freaking specimen, unbelievable athlete, hell of a throwing arm, hell of a deep ball. But remember, I told you I didn't see any of the cerebral traits I needed to see. Part of it was, being part of that system quarterback. He showed it sometimes. I'm not starting him immediately. There's no way he can. Zach Wilson can. Zach Wilson could be the quarterback week 1. I would not be making Justin Fields the quarterback week 1. Like, that's not happening if it's me. Now, they have Andy Dalton. That's a much better option than Nick Foles. Now, like what Jimmy said, I'm 100% on like what he said. We're not drafting a guy to be the future. We're drafting a guy to be a mentor to Zach Wilson, like McCown was. Trading for. Foles is not a mentor. Let's just call it what it is. He's not going to be that. At least I don't see it, that, excellent voice in his ear. Hoyer, on the other hand, has been around for a long time, played for lots of teams, including the Patriots for a while, and he learned from Tom Brady. So he's an option, you don't want him to start, but I'd rather his voice in Zach Wilson's ear than a guy like Nick Foles.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Kevin, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm driving through kind of a little spot right here. I hope you guys can hear me.
Yep, you're good.
Look, by mid-season, Justin Fields is going to be better than Andy Dalton. And I'm just going to keep it real. I love the pick for Chicago. Chicago has been kind of where it is that we were. They just haven't been able to get it together with regards to their quarterback situation. They went and did what it is that they did to move up to get Trubisky, and that's just been abysmal failure. So obviously, I'm really excited not only for Justin Fields specifically, but also I'm really excited for Chicago fans. I have some Bear fans that are friends. Now, with regards to Nick Foles, I think Nick Foles is a serviceable guy. I'm not sure if Nick Foles feels like he wants to be a backup at this point, right? I think he felt like he was going to have an opportunity to go in and maybe take the reins from Trubisky, because Trubisky was such a scrub. So, I don't know. Again, it is really going to be all about the money for me. But if the money is reasonable, I go ahead and I give him a 2-year deal just to make sure that we kind of solidify that position. Now, Nick Foles, who may not actually be a great long-term option as a backup, is still a guy that can come in and give you one game, give you a half. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, especially depending upon what the rest of our team is going to shake up looking like. He may actually even be able to win a couple of games for us if we really need him. So yeah, this is a money question, really, more than anything else. I think both Jimmy and Harrison hit it on the head, man. If the money's right, then I think we bring him in. Based on the names that are, still kind of outstanding and available. I know Jimmy likes Brian Hoyer. I don't necessarily like Brian Hoyer as much, but Brian Hoyer is still obviously, a decent option in this case. And that's really all that we need. We just need a decent option. We don't need a guy that's going to come in and, kind of have the balls to think that he's going to come in and be the starter at all. That's not what it is that we're looking for. Does Nick Foles accept his role as mentor? Does Nick Foles accept his role as, kind of the I don't know, the role model per se, because maybe not necessarily as a mentor specifically, but is he going to be the guy that Zach is going to be able to come in and emulate to certain respects in order to be able to mold himself into the type of quarterback that we're going to need? Those are all good questions, and it's feel like the backup quarterback is extremely necessary because of his habits, because of his study habits, because of how it is that he can translate film, and because of how it is that he can, help with terminology and all those things. But as far as play is concerned, Nick Foles is still questionable to me. I actually watched Nick Foles, in some games this past season, really kind of looked like he wasn't really all there. So it is a little scary. But when we have limited options, what do they say? Beggars can't be choosy, right?
Yep.
I don't know. It has a do with the money. It has a lot to do with Nick Foles' mind state right now. But I can think of probably worse options at that spot.
If I may quick, because Kev, you made an excellent point, actually. I didn't even realize this, remember this until you said it. Just 4 years ago, the Bears mortgaged and traded up to get Mitch Trubisky. Now, 4 years later, they did it again. They traded up to get their quarterback, and they gave away a first-round pick. They gave away a first-round pick next year, a fourth-rounder, and a later pick this year. Bear fans, man, they're still reeling over what happened with Trubisky. They're still reeling over giving up picks to trade up. The fact that the Bears decided to trade up again, man, if this doesn't work out, that's it. Bear fans are going to burn that shit to the ground. Bear fans are going to go down there and that's it. The place is torched.
So, well, here's my thoughts about possibly going after Nick Foles. Now, the man does have a Super Bowl to his credit, does have a Super Bowl MVP. Joe Douglas is incredibly familiar with him. And I do agree, if the money is right, as long as he is brought in with the understanding that he is there to be a mentor and he is not going to be, the guy. So that's
the opposite of Joe Flacco.
Right, exactly. So basically at this point, as much as I want to see Zach Wilson start day one, I also want to make sure that we are putting him in the best possible position to succeed. And right now, I like what the Jets have done, but I'm still not 100% confident in what we have just yet. I still feel like there is more work that has to be done. I still feel like that there are more holes that need to be filled. And I am not going to feel comfortable enough to put this kid in the cockpit to let him fly the plane until some more issues on the offensive line are addressed, a little bit more depth. We have a clearer picture as to what our starting five is going to look like going into training camp, etc. So bringing in Hoyer, bringing in the Folds, considering that Bridgewater got traded, he's somebody who I would have liked the Jets to possibly inquire about him going to Denver. So, there are just different things right now in regards to the Jets, and that backup quarterback situation is I want Zach Wilson to have the support system that Sam Darnold never had with the New York Jets. And I just don't want history repeating itself. And I just feel like that if we throw this kid in the deep end of the pool and we don't address some of these other concerns that are still lingering right now with this football team, we could potentially damage this kid. And I don't want him to be damaged. I want them to do things the right way this time. And if the kid's got to sit for 2-3 games to learn the system, to learn the speed of the NFL game, okay, then give me a Folds. Give me a Hoyer. Okay. Maybe if Nick Mullins is possibly still out there, or a CJ Beathard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are the names. Those are the names that I would really kind of. I couldn't think of them right off, but those are the guys I would think probably make a lot more sense.
Now, the reason why that I bring up Nick Folds in particular is because there was an interesting article in the New York Post that was written that the Jets should, in fact, take a flyer on Nick Folds. And I did peruse through the article. It was actually a decent read. So, and this was the reason why I wanted to pose this question to you, gentlemen, because I'm curious to what your thoughts would be on this matter. So now that you guys have answered that question, so Harrison's shaking his head. I'm sure there's something going on with the draft. So at this point now, what we're going to do is we're going to end tonight's episode of Weapons Hot, a New York Jets fan broadcast here. Gentlemen, go around the room. Please give out your social media handles. Harrison, go first, because I know you're chomping at the bit.
Let's do it. I'm good. Let's do it, brother. So you guys know my company, Take Flight Media. I do Jets writing, Jets reporting. I have people that write on my site for me as well. Check it out at takeflightmedia.org. You can find us on Twitter at NYJetsTF Media. Also got a podcast I do every Monday. I'm also doing specials. Did it for the draft. It was, before we were here talking to you guys about, what we could do with potential picks. The podcast is the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast. You can find it live on YouTube Monday nights at 7. Please go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, check us out. Again, that's the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast.
All right, Reaper.
So everything, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at Jets by Jimmy, you can find me. You can also head on over after we close this thing down. You can head on over to Jets Talk 24/7, where I will be joining the crew, Ryan, Matt O'Leary, and Green Bean, to talk some Jets draft here in a few minutes.
All right. Kevin Jackson. Come on now.
Scotty Blackman, I'll let your boy. You already know. It is what it is. Look, I'm starting to become a little bit more active on Facebook also. Got we do the New York Jets Hub, where I'm one of the founders and one of the admins on that page. With my guy from Jersey. Hit me up there. Obviously, the Weapons Hot page on Facebook is where you can kind of interact with all of us, at any point. So, I'm really simple when it comes to this stuff. I have an Instagram, but you'll find more pictures of my kids than you'll find anything else on there. I don't do any of the other stuff. I go to TikTok to look at boobs and get little other tidbits of information and funny stuff. So I'll let your boy, Spotty Blackman, on Twitter. Look, I'm starting to realize I'm starting to pick up some trolls. Please come through. I need the trolls. It gives me something to do in the meantime, in between time. I'll let you boy.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you can follow the show on Twitter at CNC Jets Factor. You can follow me at JetsFan0523. The aforementioned Kevin Jackson at Spotty Blackman, Mr. Jimmy the Reaper Jardine at Jets by Jimmy, and of course, Mr. Harrison Fireball Glazer at NY Jets TF Media. So many different ways where you can consume Weapons Hot, especially on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Download the app. If you have an Android, go to Google Play. If you have an Apple device, go to the iOS store, search up WWSRN, and you should be able to find it. If you go to our YouTube page, you could actually find links to the apps on one of our most recent videos that we've placed down there. By the way, special thank you to Blake McLaughlin, Danny Feuerstein, and everyone who tuned in last night, including Jude Jets, who we are working on getting on for next week. Thank you for contributing to the draft show last night. It looked like it was a blast. I wish I could have joined you guys. I did watch for the entire thing. You guys were funny as hell, and you guys made me proud last night. So thank you for keep on fighting the good fight while the painkiller was laid up a little bit. Now, that being said, I also want to give a special birthday shout out to Mr. Errol Marks. Yesterday was his birthday. Hopefully, him being a Jet fan, he woke up a very happy camper this morning. So also shout out to Speedy Petey for all of his tireless work on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network and being in with the chats. Thank you to everyone who contributed to the chat this evening. Lino Lichmore, Lino Cortino, Lowell Lichmore, Thomas Gutman, Bill Robinson, Evan Mendelson, Martin Barringer, Mauricio Petrullo. I probably butchered that dude's name, but thank you anyway. Bill Robinson. So if I didn't mention your name, I do apologize, but definitely thank you for everyone who participated tonight. So with that, for Jimmy the Reaper Jardine, Harrison Fireball Glazer, our rookie test pilot, and Mr. Kevin Spotty Blackman Jackson, ladies, make sure you write that down. This is your host.
Wouldn't be an outro without that, man.
Exactly.
Right?
This is your host, CJ the Painkiller D. Simone, signing off. We will see you guys when we see you guys. We're going to leave you tonight with the best chant in the National Football League. All right, ladies and gentlemen, good night. Enjoy the rest of day 2 and day 3 for the draft. Be safe, and we'll catch you guys next Friday at 7 p.m. Go Jets.
Peace out, guys.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.